Matthew 24:24. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than never. The would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a so-called black thing, right? And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say shalom. And I'm going to run to Isaiah 54 and 17 real quick. And it reads, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise up against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh. So we're not really worried about Esau Edom doing what he's doing. Just like a video that I'm going to play, let it happen. All right? Because he has to implement his hands, cause his oppression, and it's well under his way. This Project 2025, I'm going to let about a few minutes of this video play. And you can see Esau's plans. And you wonder why they're spending all this money to deport people, and then all of a sudden they're bringing in Edomites, because all the fraud and the lies, that they tell with their false statistics about how many so-called white people are here in America. That's not working anymore. Their numbers are low, not only in America, but worldwide, but their numbers are low, and their fertility is low, and they're not having a lot of babies. So Project 2025 is really to restore white superiority, all right? Patriarchy, and not patriarchy of all men, but patriarchy with white men, which is really no such thing. Like I said, I did a video this morning, there's no such thing as white people. That's a social construct that they made up to control a narrative, all right? To push, we just gonna call them what they are, Edomite supremacy, all right? The red people, the pink people, all right? And the first came out red all over. Okay, go research, find the scripture. But they tried to hide this counsel. Let's grab that too. I'm in Isaiah, I might as well get it, because there's a lot of that going on in Babylon today, and the Lord is revealing everything. But this is Isaiah 29 and 15, and it reads, woe unto them, woe means destruction. Woe unto them that seek to hide their counsel from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? All right, so they get together with these think tanks, and they think of all these things to promote and push Edomite superiority, while robbing the American citizens with all these unrighteous decrees and unrighteous laws that already break the law of the land, and they're just going they might as well just burn the Constitution. Problem is, with them continuing to do this, it's causing a great division. Esau is thoroughly divided, and yeah, there's going to be uprisings, and guess what? It's going to start with so-called white people. They're going to do it. All right? But here we go. The name of the video is at the bottom. You can see, so you can go find it.
So I need everybody to hear this, including Trump supporters, because this has nothing to do with whether I'm a Democrat or you're a Republican. What's happening right now affects every single one of us. I'm going to talk about two different bills that were just slipped into the House budget bill, okay? Affects every one of us. The first one are the SNAP benefit cuts. I made a video about a year ago because I've studied extensively Project 2025. I've studied extensively how people are being brainwashed to buy into Project 2025 by people like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, okay? So in this...
Now, mind you, they use the same tactics to persuade women to come out of the home, to go get educated, and to elevate women above men, which has pretty much broken the relationship between men and women, and broken the marriage and the homes, right? Because now all of a sudden women became the earners and higher than men, and don't want to need men, and and it caused that, the scriptures clearly say that you should never put a woman in a position where she can usurp the authority over the man. Look at what it's done with the whole MGTOW, and men go their way, and the passport bros, and women complaining about men don't want to date them, and no one gets married, and all that sort of thing. All right.
SNAP benefits. They're cutting it. They're cutting SNAP benefits by $120 billion over a decade. Now, here's how they're cutting it. You're only permitted to apply for SNAP benefits until your child turns 7 years old. That's a second grader. I want everybody to just walk into a second grade classroom. Now, there are so many reasons why somebody might need SNAP benefits to get them by. One of the most important ones is because you're a single parent, or maybe you're even grandparents. The parents...
See, and Trump is trying to come down on that, because you got a lot of women that go out and trap men and have children on purpose just so they could collect child support and collect benefits from the system. All right. And so they purposely become, I'm not going to say every one of them, but many of them. I would probably say most of them, the majority of them. All right. These women go out and have children with men that they know don't want to have anything to do with them. And it's crazy how I just find it so funny. I'm completely and totally against abortions and, murdering a person. But I just find it rather amazing that a woman can get with a man knowing that he doesn't want to be with her. She was in it for sex. He was in it for sex. All right. Nothing more. She finds out she's pregnant, or she gets pregnant on purpose, and then she decides to have the baby. Or you have the reverse situation where the man is all into the woman and she wants to be free and hit the clubs and travel, and she don't want no child, and then she kills his child and he has no say so. But when the man, it's a whole freak off. The man doesn't want to have anything to do with the woman or the child. He tells her that out the gate. She has a child anyway, and now he's financially responsible. That's, yeah. So one thing's for sure is that what she's talking about, that is about to be attacked. So women who do that and have done that and been successful with it, that's all about to come to an end. All right. And a matter of fact, the whole Title 4D child support thing is on the rocks, because it's been discovered, because it is extremely illegal to enforce on American citizens, because it is a foreign treaty. It's not even American. Just the majority of people don't know that. They don't have a clue of that. All right.
Are out of the picture and you're living on, retirement benefits. It could be any number of reasons. And these children, we have hungry children right now, even with the current SNAP benefit system. We have hungry children, and we don't have all that many high-paying jobs. We have a lot of manual labor, low wage, no benefit jobs.
And that's mostly men who are working those jobs. The women get most of the high-paying jobs these days, even though they'll try to say otherwise, but it's true. Well, at least among the tribes, among the so-called Negro Latinos communities, the women get the majority of the higher paying jobs over the men. All right, that's not the case with Edomites, but collectively, but definitely with Jake. I just saw a statistic that says 65% of college-educated, of degree wielding so-called black women, they got a degree from a career. 65% of them work for the government, and the government is completely against our people. Why do you think they recruit so many black women? And now most of those jobs are being let loose. So a lot of these same women are going to be victims of this Project 2025. They're trying to reverse what they've done and take women back out of the workplace and put them back at home and make them be under a man, which is actually biblical. That's the way it's supposed to be. But, you've given these women all this freedom that they were never supposed to have, Christian women, according to the Lord. Remember, that's scriptural when I said that. That's in Timothy. I think it's 1 Timothy 2:11, where a woman should not usurp the authority of a man. A woman should never be in a position where she's a boss, that she has authority over men. That's off. That's out of order. The Lord never set up that order. Okay? So now Esau created that madness. He's trying to reverse it. Listen up.
Well, these Republicans are cutting SNAP benefits, but they're giving 2 exclusions, okay? The first exclusion, if you're married and your child turns 7, you can continue to get SNAP benefits. And then they're upping the work requirements, except with the exception, if you're married, the new work requirements do not apply. Why is this important? When you read Project 2025, their goal is to turn this into a Christian nation under a patriarchy. It's their goal. There's over 35 people at high-level administration with Donald Trump that were architects that are part of Project 2025 in making it happen. And in Project 2025, it forces women to get married at a very young age and start bearing children. So this is integrated into this new bill. It makes it very hard to be a single mother and to remain single. It forces you into a marriage you probably don't want. And Trump supporters, you've got single mothers in your households.
So here they are. They're pushing that. She's trying to push that women are oppressed because they're getting married off at a young age. Well, Esau's trying to go back. Maybe he's seeing the error of his mistake by elevating women over men against the will of God, and has helped create the fall of America. Young teenage men, because you're actually a man once your testosterone was reached about 12, 13, you're considered a man biblically. And for you to be going to school, sitting up under women, I remember as a, 8th grader, turned 13, in my, end of the 7th grade, going into 8th grade. All right. You're like 13, 14 years old, female teachers, you're sitting at the desk. Well, at least back then, I don't know about now, because they got everybody so weak bodied now with all this GMO foods. But hell, when that, Eddie Murphy told a joke in Raw, about how the wind would blow and your dick would get hard. So men were men back then. Even at a young age. Hell, saw something about a year or two back that said that a 79-year-old man testosterone levels in 1980 were equal to like a 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old man, as of 2023. That is ridiculous to think that a 79-year-old man in 1980 had higher testosterone levels than a 19-year-old man in 2023. So, yeah, so you guys, think y'all laying it down. Y'all ain't doing nothing. all the pipe slinging was happening back in the day. Y'all just a shadow of what men were back then. And, and there's no fault of your own. How you going to be the cheek slayer when your food and your water is all corrupted? But nevertheless, this man wants to bring back patriarchy and men ruling. And so this is being targeted at all people. Is going to make all these single moms suffer, and all these women suffer according to what she's saying. But this is really to restore the so-called white race, that's why they're bringing in all them racist apartheid South Africans. All right, they're trying to bring in some real white people and not bring in brown people from the Middle East, from Western Asia, North Africa, and then label them as white when they're clearly not white. And all this is going to do, you know, in the midst of this failing economy, in the midst of this collapsing, this collapsing economy, is this just going to help breed resistance, civil disturbances, racial disturbances. So let's go to the next video because people are mad. Okay. So, and this is from Hopeful Elect 3, at Hopeful Elect 3. Let's let this one play.
Hey everyone. I wanted to address something that is just worrying me a lot. And you can stitch this or share it or repost or do edit, whatever you want to do. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There are 340 million people in this country. There are millions and millions of guns in this country.
Yep. Now, 340 million, you got to add on all the extra like 60, 70 million that came in with the migrants. Don't discount them. All right, and whatever of them may have been, you know, military with the staged weapons waiting on them to get activated. We don't know. But one thing is for sure is that the racial skirmishes are going to kick off too. Judah is tired of you, and when Judah raises up against Esau, Edom, the rest of the tribes will too. And this is Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couches as a lion, and as an old lion, and who shall rise him up? Jake is being, the so-called black people being roused up, man. They're tired. And Esau is angry at Jake and is trying to make all the, it's like he wants to make all his problem Jake's problem. The truth of the matter is that America is failing because of white men, white politicians and their decisions and the way that they've been hateful and racist and spend the money. They've made all these decisions which have destroyed America. All right. All those tens of billions that go to Israel, the biggest welfare state, the big, you know, you could have fixed America, fixed your factories. You know, you could have fixed your businesses, your streets, your schools, your cities. You could have, there'd be no ghettos. There'd be stores and jobs and things for everybody. But for the last 44 decades, all the Israelis' problems have been America's problems, while America has been deteriorating, and so-called white people are tired of it. So, like he said, I would say 400 million American or people in America right now. Well over 340 million. That was the count before the migrant invasion. All right. So well over 400 million. And I think they said there's enough guns for everybody to have 2 or 3. That's a lot of guns.
And somebody is going to break into a house looking for people to deport or to rendition, I should say. And they're not going to go willingly.
Yeah, because Esau Edom is deputizing people, and mainly white males, all right, that are already racist and hateful, as if it isn't enough of them on the police departments, all right? Because that's another reason. Another way you could actually minimize hate and stop a lot of problems in America, if you just white males shouldn't be allowed to be police officers. From what I've seen, the way they behave collectively, if they weren't or if they were made to only police in their neighborhoods, all right, America would probably be a lot better, because a lot of the problems and issues come from them.
Begging everybody who's watching this video, please call your representatives and ask them to put together a bill that requires law enforcement that requires ICE in particular to wear uniforms, to have proper paperwork, to have a judicially signed warrant when they go somewhere, to put this in a bill and have this signed into law. And this is for the safety of everybody involved. Because once the shooting starts, people get caught in the crossfire. They are creating an unsafe condition.
Yeah, and when people get caught in the crossfire, they're not going to care. All right? They're going to fire back. If some, you got people in plain clothes without proper documents kicking in doors, claiming that they're deputies, they've been deputized to do this and do that, and they can't be identified by looking at them, and someone just goes to defend themselves. Like he said, this is a disaster in the making, but we know these things must come. All right. So what he's describing could very well be a scenario that kicks off, and this could turn racial really fast, both politically and racially. All right. Really fast.
Going around doing things the way that they are doing them. It's going to get really bad. And something really bad is going to happen during one of these raids. Standard uniforms, proper paperwork, proper warrants. Please get this message out there.
So, he wants the peace and safety, and that's another thing. Trump went over and tried to make those deals with Saudi Arabia to try to calm things down, and is dissing the Israelis publicly. I don't think it's real. I think it's all for show. But nevertheless, for when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction, this shall come. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 19. It says, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. The Lord is sending this because it's payment. This is the amendment. But for those things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, and they shall think themselves to be in a good case. See, they think that these tariffs are going to disappear and everything's going to go back to normal. That there's a little bit more suffering. No, there's a lot more suffering to come. It's going to get worse and it's never going to get better. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wicked ways, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, and they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword and famine and great confusion. All right? It says, for many of them that dwell on earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Because you're going to have people in rebellion against the government. That's sedition among men. And you're going to have the racial skirmishes. And you're going to have people fighting for food, for resources. All right? You're going to have cannibalism. People are going to actually begin to eat other people. All right? You lose a fight, they're going to behead you, cut out your entrails, and cook your legs, arms, and torso. Same way of you as a gigantic chicken. All right? They showed you that in the movie The Road, if you were paying attention. All right, you had men that would hunt down. They would hunt down women and children. They would rape the women, rape the children, and then they would behead them, gut them, and cook them like they was livestock. All right, this is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. I started 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. I was on the damn red line, the ghetto line today. I try to avoid it best I can. But I was kind of put in a situation where I had to ride it. Couldn't even get out. I'm met by cops handing out Dunkin' Donut coupons while they upstairs on the street level handing out Dunkin' Donut coupons, you got two dudes having a bottle fight, breaking bottles, and threatening to stab and cut each other up on the platform. One jumped down the train tracks and came back up with a big rock and a broken bottle, while the other one had a broken bottle, and they're standing there in the face off with the people all around them. You know, so people are on edge, man. All right, yeah. So a sword is going to become whatever you have in your hand. All right. I always say a lot of people are going to die by hammers, baseball bats, and butcher knives. Those are going to be everyday things. Sometimes even screwdrivers. Because those are going to be the most ready available things to the average person. All right. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of the pride of the cities they shall be troubled. Houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and great tribulation." So you're going to have the opportunists, or the people actually trying to survive, who normally wouldn't do anything to anybody. But when they get hungry, crimes of desperation. And they're going to kick in your door to take your food. And if they have to kill you to get it, that is exactly what they're going to do. If they have to murder you. All right. So, like he said, let it happen. All right. This thing in this place, that's the name of this video, is Let It Happen. And it's going to happen. And it's going to happen a lot sooner than anybody thinks. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Kahak Wadash Kwam Yasrala Abba Babal. Stay prayed up.